head men's basketball coach, Jim Boeheim. He was being accused of child molestation by 3 accusers. The statute of limitations had passed on these, so it wasn't a criminal case involved, but it was the allegations. Now, one of the accusers, in all fairness to Bernie Fine, one of the accusers recanted this story in April of this year, 2012, but the other two are, been consistent, pretty much sticking to their story. Now, I'm not trying to play a numbers game here. I'm just saying, in all fairness, one of the 3 accusers recanted. But one accuser is enough in this. This is a serious allegation. So I'm not trying to minimize it in any way by saying, one person. But all fairness, I'm trying to be fair, do fair reporting. In all fairness to Bernie Fine, one of the 3 accusers recanted their story. But anyway, at first, head men's basketball coach Jim Boeheim, he was having the back of Fine. And what I mean by that, he was having his backs, supporting them, saying the allegations were not true. I've been knowing this guy for many years, so forth. And I'm sure, me and myself probably would do the same thing. But after you get more information, friend of no friend, now your reputation is at stake because you don't know what kind of secret your friend has or have had. Now, this was interesting because the university had clear control over this from the jump. Not like Penn State, but Syracuse had control. The administration, the board of trustees had control of this situation from the jump. They weren't about to make the same mistake that Penn State had, or Penn State made in regards to the Sandusky situation. They fired Fine. They did an internal investigation and they fired him. They took quick action prior to last season, the 2011-12 season. Basically, these are my words. They basically probably said, you can be a friend to your homeboy all you want. We're not going to try to come between you and your homeboy. But we will be, you can be his homeboy from a distance. Or you can follow him. Because we're not getting ready to lose no money. You helped us, thank God you helped us make millions of dollars. You helped us make millions of dollars, but we are not going to get negative value out of you by causing us millions and millions of dollars in lawsuits. No, you can be a friend to your homeboy, but I would encourage you to be a friend from a distance because he's not going to be affiliated with this university anymore. And that's what Penn State should have done once they found out about Sandusky. The first initial, I guess we will never know when the first time he molested a child. But what the timeline, 2001, think of the other 9 young men they could have saved if they'd have took quick, swift action. The school gave up a lot of money to the paternal estate because his son was bickering. Oh, you all disgraced my dad. You disgraced him. You tarnished his legacy or trying to tarnish his legacy. But, young man, you better hold on to some of those millions because some of those millions getting ready to get lost in some lawsuits from 10 young men and their lawyers, which I'm sure are going to be going after that estate money that the school gave to them, that Paterno earned, and also from the money that Paterno earned as coach and as the face of Penn State. They're coming after that money. They're coming after that money, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Them young men should, and their families should be compensated. Now, I mentioned last week, when you think UNC, you think Dean Smith. After Dean Smith, after a few bad years, you think of Roy Williams. You even think of the negative, Butch Davis. He became face of the university through the football program. All UNC fans, some fans are diehard basketball fans, and then you have some diehard football fans. Every fan does not like certain coaches, but when you think of football, you think of Butch Davis. Then you start thinking about the probation, the academic issues, the players getting paid by agents. That's where you start thinking. And I said last week, I'm saying coaches shouldn't be the face of the university or the college or universities. And somebody might say, hey, so who should be? What should be? So how should colleges and universities be, or what should they be known for? And I stated last week, since the NCAA uses the term so freely, student athlete, these universities and colleges and universities should be known by the quality of education and the strong academic integrity of the schools. I mean, we use these terms so freely. I hear fans. These guys shouldn't be leaving to go pro, especially in basketball. These guys shouldn't be leaving early to go to the NBA. They should remember their students. They're student athletes. But on the other end, why should you be encouraging, the coaches to become the face of the program, since you call these student athletes, they should be getting a quality education? So why not push for the colleges and universities to be known by the quality of education and the strong academic integrity of the schools? Most of the people don't want to hear that. Most fans don't want to hear that. Most fans don't care to hear that my favorite player has to sit out a game or two because he didn't cut the grades. They'll start criticizing the young kid. I started reading blogs after Fab Melo was declared academically ineligible by Syracuse. The blogs calling him all kind of names, calling him slow, and it was just uncalled for. It was just uncalled for. Now that's a topic for another day, because every person is not college material. I'm sorry, if that's the case, then we'd have a whole nation. We would have we have enough young men and young women that has college debts, the debt that they incurred while in school. We would have a whole country in this student loan debt if everyone went to school. Everyone's not college material. But the names that I saw, on blogs where people were calling Fab Melo was just uncalled for. And it comes from fans who don't even realize they're being hypocrites as well. I'm guilty of it sometimes, and I'm ready for my my team to play their rival. I don't be saying, I wonder if he studied tonight. I wonder, did he get that paper in before Wednesday and the game is like Thursday or Saturday. I don't never think that. All I think about is that guy better go out there and get me 20, 25 points so we can win. And I just wonder how many people just sit back and just, sit back and wonder, I wonder if him or her, are cutting the grades because, I'm concerned about their academic future. No, please. All you concerned about is bragging rights that you have over your friend over a game. And just look at also the, John Calipari. Even though Calipari was not implicated in two teams that he was with, UMass and also University of Memphis, they had to vacate their Final Four appearances in 1996 UMass and also 2008 Memphis. Even though he wasn't implicated, he was the face of those universities. He was the face. Calipari was the face. But look how tarnished. You look back, and I've heard some bad names called for Calipari. I hear people all the time call him a cheater or whatever. But just look at that. Two programs under his leadership had to vacate titles. Even though he wasn't implicated, he was the face of that university. It tarnished the images of those two universities. So those are the drawbacks of having those coaches, or having a coach as the face of the university. Now next week, I'm going to go into part 3, which will be the final part of this fine series. After JoePa, should coaches be the face of colleges and universities? As more information comes out on the role that Joe Paterno played in the Jerry Sandusky situation at Penn State. Now on June the 15th, legendary Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski was interviewed by Piers Morgan on his show, Piers Morgan Tonight Show. And this occurred on June the 15th of this year, 2012. And here's what Coach K had to say in reference to the termination of Joe Paterno, courtesy of CNN.
Probably the only person that could rival you in reputation for college sport was Joe Paterno. And his career came to this awful, tragic end. How did you feel about that? As someone that knew him well, worked in a parallel world to him for a long time. I mean, a very sad thing for him, wasn't it?
No, it's horrible. And I've respected Coach Paterno for my entire life and had a chance to get to know him really well in the last year of his life. Mm-hmm. We did a show together, and I thought it was really not well done, and in handling the situation. That it's a difficult situation to encounter, but you had somebody who's given 6 decades of service to a university and done such an incredible job. Somehow you have to let something has to play out and respect the fact that you've gone through all these experiences for 6 decades. It doesn't just go out the window, right at the end. I thought it was a real mistake by Penn State's leadership.
I mean, if such a similar set of circumstances had happened at Duke, you had a Sandusky-like figure, and innocent till proven guilty,
Right.
but on the assumption that a lot of what we're hearing has some merit to it. How do you deal with that? What should Joe Paterno perhaps have done that he didn't?
Well, you should deal with it like any team should deal with. In other words, I'm on the Duke team. If that happened in my area, then I would look to work with my athletic director and my president to have a solution. And if that solution meant that I would step down, I would do it in a way which would be part of the solution, not like you're just throwing out. And you have to understand that in leadership, you may be asked to step down, and that's part of being a leader.
Unfortunately, my time is up, and I certainly hope that you sat back and enjoyed your early morning coffee with Big Tom Herman. And please feel free to tune in next week at this time, 7:30 a.m. on this fine radio station, Power 750 WAUG, and on power750.com.